Hello and welcome to the Hamilton Tile Show podcast, episode 13. This is the show where you get to follow a couple of real-life owner-operator craftsmen of a small remodeling company in Woodstock, Georgia. This show follows the trials, the tribulations. This show, we like to talk about business, we like to talk about tile, we like to talk about our lives, and we'd like to thank you for being here. If you wouldn't mind, if you've made it this far, if you're a repeat viewer, if you wouldn't mind going down and putting a thumbs up on this video, and leave a comment for us to see. And also feel free to subscribe if you feel that this is a cool show or we're doing a good thing. I'm Ben Santos. This is Jason Hamilton. How are we doing today, Jason? What are we up to?
I'm doing good. It's Friday. We got off a little early. Got the walls flattened out before the drywaller and electrician got in for a backsplash that we're doing a kitchen on. So figure get a little ahead of the game on that one so we're not scrambling. All the drywaller's going to come. We got to get it all flattened. So now we're ready to go, and it'll be nice and flat for us when we go to set tile.
Yeah, one of the challenges I've been seeing about doing this show is that some of the things that we've talked about in the past, I don't really want to repeat things, and that's kind of a challenge because I don't really go back and listen to the show. So maybe repeating things would be better for the newer viewers or the newer listeners. But what have we been working on since our last show, which was about 38 days ago? I believe we were epoxy grouting the bathrooms at this project.
Were we? We were getting ready to, but yeah, we epoxy grouted the entire first floor. Went a little quicker than I thought. It still took us, a week and a half? I mean, it was a lot of epoxy. 1, 2, 3 bathrooms, 400 square foot floor.
Yeah, it was a lot of epoxy.
It was a lot of epoxy. It was probably 10 units, I want to say. No, it wasn't that much. Yeah, we had epoxy bunch of glass. It's not the setting of the epoxy or the actual application of it. The bad part is the cleanup. That really is the worst part about epoxy because you go through so much. I must have went through $300 in sponges. 2 bags of microfiber rags, because the trick with epoxy is go through a lot of sponges and microfiber rags, because if you try to make your sponge last because you're being cheap, what you end up doing is just spreading the haze, and you don't pick it up anymore. So you're actually shooting yourself in the foot, because we've dealt with this with other people asking for advice on how do I clean up the epoxy. Oh no, I haven't, I didn't clean up well enough the first time, and now they got a bunch of haze they got to deal with, and don't be that guy. They say change your sponge every 50 feet. Yeah, they're being very generous at 50 feet. I'd say it's realistically more like 25 feet. Obviously it depends on how many grout joints, the tile size, there's a lot of factors, but I don't think we get 50. I mean, we get 50 feet maybe if it's a big tile with not a lot of grout joints. But I've learned throughout the years, just once it starts feeling sticky, just throw it out.
Yeah, it goos out very quickly.
We used, what we do is we use initial, kind of a cheaper sponge to first wipe. I like the new, Pro Plus FA. It's kind of like a Ardex sponge, but it's only, depending on how many you buy, between $2.25 and $3 a piece. Ardex sponges are $6-7 a piece. While they are fantastic sponges, it's not something we use for epoxy grout because you just destroy them. They work good for epoxy grout, but again, at $7 a piece, it gets a little pricey. So I found the new Armalay Pro Plus, the square ones that look like an Ardex one. They actually perform really well. They're not quite as good as Ardex, I'd say, but they're probably 80% as good as Ardex sponges, if I had to guess. They last a while. They don't fall apart too quick. So we use that one for the first wipe. And then we use for the second wipe, immediately after, we have 2 buckets. Immediately after the first one's done, we take the QEP sponge that has a blue microfiber on the one side, like a rag. And we soak up all the residual water with the oily residue from epoxy haze in it. We do that for a second wipe. And then we stop, let it dry. It depends on the humidity, the temperature of the day, but at 70 degrees, you generally wait an hour. And then we come back, scrub it, wipe it with, one of these yellow microfiber rags you get from Costco. You get a bag of, I don't know how many are in here, bags there. There's 30 some in it. It's like $16. And then we get the remaining haze up with this on the final wipe. And there's very rarely any times where we really have any cleaning to do the second day. Now we will come back the second day and scrub it just to make sure we get it all off. Because man, if you don't get it off that second day, it gets almost to the point where it's not coming off. I mean, there's always a way to get it off, but the longer you wait, man, you're really making your job in life miserable. So that's a system we've gotten down for Spectra. We use Spectralock Premium Pro or Spectralock Pro. Yeah, Spectralock Pro Premium. There we go. I just had it reversed. We use that for a lot. Ardex WA is nice. Ardex WA is a little bit easier to spread, but it's a little bit harder to clean up. Spectralock's the reverse. Spectralock's a little bit harder to spread. It's not hard by any means, but it's a little bit harder. And then, but it's a little bit easier to clean up. So we use Spectralock just because ease of availability for us. We just get it from Floor & Decor. They have all the matching silicones that I can buy it by the tube. If we use Ardex, we have to buy it by the case. So if I need one tube, I got to buy a whole case of that color, and I don't like wasting, so it's kind of why we stick to the Spectralock for the most part.
Yeah, and one of the things that when I was cleaning up the floor, we put a sill seal gasket around the perimeter of the floors. And I remember thinking about making another piece of content about the sill seal gasket.
Yeah, everybody online always says, "Oh, it's a waste of time, a waste of time." They don't think 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Because what do we not have to do? We don't have to worry about when we're spreading epoxy grout about it getting in the expansion zone and causing a problem. We just grout right up to it and let it be, and then we cut it when we're done.
Or even when you're setting tile and you have
Same thing.
Thin set. When you push the tile down, sometimes it will come up around the perimeter against the wall, and in order to allow for expansion and contraction, you have to clean out that area around the wall.
The only things I don't like sometimes when we had the sill seals, like when we're doing layout or if a wall's not really straight, it makes it tricky to measure to the wall with a sill seal in there. But it's generally not too bad, but that's the only downside to it. You can't measure right to the wall. It's generally not a problem, but if I had one complaint about doing it that way, that would be it. But we just cut little slits to get to the wall when we're doing layout, so it's not really a big deal.
But with that sill seal, you can see that it's a physical barrier to prevent anything from getting into your expansion zone. And I notice online a lot of guys will use the spray foam, and I just feel like it looks sloppy doing it like that. And when you're
because you can't get in a straight line, so you don't have a nice. You're going to end up digging it out anyways when you're done doing your leveling or whatever you're doing. So you're not going to get a nice straight even cut.
I think
I don't. We'll use spray foam around toilets and stuff, to fill up the big hole. But then what we do is while the spray foam's still wet, we wrap it with our sill seal. So it compresses that spray foam and keeps it to the perfect shape of the toilet flange. So then we just, we don't have to worry about the hole being too big or whatever. There's tricks to doing it.
I feel like one of the things with getting paid in this business is having your prep look professional. And I think the spray foam just looks kind of haggard and doesn't look as professional as having the sill seal gasket around everything. It just looks like the person that you hire knows what they're doing. It's that's a big factor.
My building trades teacher, I remember this from 20-some years ago. He said, when you put the Tyvek house wrap on the house, make sure you put it so that the letters are facing the right way. It functions the same whether you have it right side up or upside down. It doesn't matter. But when you have it upside down, it makes you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that same, thought process. It just doesn't look as nice if you just do some raggedy old spray foam. Yes, it works. And we use spray foam in certain areas, or we actually shoot it underneath the wall if there's a gap in the wall, we'll shoot a small bead underneath that, and then we put the sill seal up right away. So that way, again, as it wants to expand, I could take a plastic knife and you just run it across there, and it pushes the spray foam while it's still wet back. So it just cures, you got the nice, even, consistent gap for your expansion. It just makes it just looks nicer. It's just less farting around and fighting things. And that's just how we do it, There's nothing wrong with spray foam, but you're not going to get a nice, clean, straight line with it. That's just all.
Yeah, but also the sill seal has multiple levels of things that we're leaving that up
until we are done.
Completely done, and then we cut it off. And you can see, like I'm going to put it here, and you can see there's that permanent expansion zone for people. I had a builder guy last year tell me that, expansion and contraction doesn't matter inside these new houses because they're climate controlled, and I knew he was a dummy when I was.
My personal favorite. Everybody used to think this because I see this a lot too online. When people do self-leveling pours, they pour it tight to the drywall, and everybody's thinking, and it's like I used to have this thinking too. Oh, the drywall will crush before, like the tile will tent or the floor will buckle because everybody thinks, oh, drywall's not that strong. Until I learned what the PSI strength for drywall is. It's 2,500 PSI. So, I mean, it takes a lot of force per square inch to crush a piece of drywall. Your floor will buckle way before it crushes 2,500 PSI. So just think about that, 2,500 PSI, but across the entire length of that entire floor, I mean, that's tens of thousands of PSI, essentially, that it would take to crush that drywall to be your expansion zone. So, it's, the sill seal gasket performs multiple things. You need to have that expansion and contraction area.
And back to that is what it is it's precision preparation, which allows us and will allow you, if you're a younger guy or trying to improve your business, what precision preparation does is allow you to hold the proper frame with your homeowner. And what's frame? Well, you want to be framed as the professional and as someone that knows what they're doing and high quality and those type of feelings with your homeowner. You're preserving the frame when they feel like you are the professional. Look how clean everything is. They sweep up every day. They take care in things that seemingly don't matter. That's good, positive frame with your homeowner, which allows you to be paid more and which allows for a much smoother job. Because what happens when a job goes south, what is traditionally going to happen is your homeowner is going to pick out one thing that they don't like. They're going to see that corner that's not cut nicely. They're going to see that you didn't clean up that day or whatever, and then you're going to lose them from there. You lost frame at that point. I've had that happen where, I had a situation where the homeowner, picked something out that she didn't like, and the way I responded wasn't how she wanted me to respond, and I lost frame of that job, and from there on out, she was a problem about every little thing, whether it was something or whether it was not something.
Yeah, and it still happens to us to this day. I mean, we're human. We make mistakes. It is what it is.
But I would really say when you build up these things like the sill seal looking professional, like your prep being precision, all these things make it so that we don't have to have problems with our homeowners. And I did want to mention, we went to a different job in a different neighborhood with a different type of homeowner that found us on Nextdoor. And we were 3 weeks on this job. It was a couple of tub surrounds, a floor. And I felt like this homeowner, we booked the job, and I felt like this homeowner was trying to fraud check us a little bit. And what is fraud check? Like in MMA fighting or in boxing, you get this young up-and-coming stud that's kicking the crap out of all the lower competition, and everybody's watching this guy being like, oh, this is the next Conor McGregor, this is the next Mike Tyson, and then you throw that guy in there with an old dog that's been through it all, a former champion, and he gets his ass beat. That's called getting fraud checked. That potential superstar got fraud checked by an old dog that was able to kick his butt. And we see that in MMA all the time, right? I feel like this lady was not trying to, but she was looking for things almost to not be happy about. And some people are just like that. And Jason went on vacation, that must be nice, on a cruise. And I was there working alone. And my radar was kind of going off, because sometimes when you go into people's houses, like we leave the cardboard down for the extent of the job, or we leave the plastic down, and these people have dogs, for example, or they just don't want people in their house anymore. They're asking us excessively, oh, when are you going to be done? When are you going to be done? Even though we've already told them over and over again, and I have my sheet, and we always are right on a good timeline. So this lady was, I felt, almost like looking for things wrong. One day she asked me to take down a tile that I had put up because it had some sort of characteristic on it that she didn't like. And I'm like, wow, am I going to lose this lady? And it didn't. And everything worked out great. But and
you never know. She could have had really bad experiences with
No. Here, she found us from Nextdoor. So my experience with Nextdoor is there's a lot of unprofessional people on there. So if she is hiring people from Nextdoor, she's had bad experiences.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. She's had bad experiences with contractors.
Yeah,
so.
and I feel like we did our usual service that we've been doing for a decade.
Everything turned out great. It was fun.
Yeah, we did nothing different than we usually would, and for this project, though, I was telling Jason when he came back, I'm like, if we didn't have our crap together, we would have been screwed with this lady. Like, this is one of the ladies or one of the homeowners that would have really hurt our business if we weren't really dialed in. And I feel like we are dialed in, so we don't have problems with people like this. But golly, if we
if there was somebody else doing the job, they would have been.
That didn't have.
She'd have been up their stuff like.
That didn't have their stuff together.
Because she knew what she was looking at. Like she knew what good tile work would look like.
And especially when they pay more too, they're more on top of you. You have to be in that professional zone at all times.
Yep.
And luckily we were, and we are. But this was one of the jobs that could have very easily gone south if
it was a different contractor that's doing things the normal builder model business way. Yeah, they wouldn't have worked out well for them. That's for sure.
Yeah, talk about how we we got the whole job done. Everything was going together, and we're putting the plumbing fixture back in. And it was a Moen fixture, and she didn't want to change the valve to save money. But
which is fine.
But we put a new trim kit on it. Talk a little bit about that, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's every handle fits differently on a valve, and this one just stuck out farther, and she didn't like that, and I didn't really know how to, I guess, answer it. I mean, other than it's just how it's made. It's just one of those things, like it sticks out like this. I don't, but Moen made it like this. It'll probably be the last time I agree to. We're not putting on just trim without a new valve, even though it would have been the exact same. Yeah, it would have been the exact same scenario. Like, well, here's the main problem.
There was a 2x4 behind the wall. You could have got that.
Here's the main problem, because she said she saw it at the showroom, and there's no gap between the handle and the trim plate. Well, that's at a showroom. That's not a actually functioning valve. That's just a mock-up just to make it so you see what it looks like. And this is the problem I have with showrooms, because they don't make things realistically how they actually are. So yeah, when you see that thing and you expect it to be like that, which I get where she's coming from, if you expected it to be like that, but this is how Moen made it. I can't change how Moen designs their stuff, unfortunately.
And this is in the wild.
And there would have been a way to actually make it go farther back.
If you change the valve.
But you would have to go against Moen's installation specs. They tell you to put the valve here in the wall, and that's where it was. So yeah, there's always a way to make it how you
but their design is made to
that's why
have that much adjustment,
because it's called a universal valve for a reason. They make it at this depth, so no matter what they do design wise with the handle, it's going to work. So that's why some handles go farther back on the stud than other handles. Why they do that? I mean, that's my guess. I mean, the handle could have easily been designed to go farther back because it was sticking out far. But I mean, that's just how it was designed by Moen.
And not changing the valve kind of makes it so. But listen here. I'm going to post this thing up from Tile Coach's forum right here. Okay, this was literally within 1 or 2 days.
It was funny. It was within a day. Like, it was the exact same scenario
of this happening, of us, having to deal with this. Where someone on Isaac's forum posted the same exact thing, where he installed the fixture, or his plumber installed the fixture exactly the way the
Well,
instructions.
we're presuming he did it in instructions.
No, I'll post all the pictures right here. The 2x4
Yeah.
on the back of the wall, all this, installed it perfect, and he didn't like the same thing.
We found it kind of funny. It's like, man, that's two in a row. Like, that's just weird.
Where
timing.
that finished piece was, and the handle was out a little bit, right? And Larry, one of the coaches on the forum, recommended that instead of the 2x4 mount it to a piece of plywood.
Which you can.
And apparently that solved the problem. And we could have done that if we had if we had replaced the valve.
But here's my whole problem.
But the plumbing was not set up for that either.
Here's my whole problem with the situation. It's not a problem.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not a problem. We got to. It's just no. It's not even that. It's not even aesthetic. It is how the valve is designed and built. We put it into Moen specs. That's fine if you want to go against their specs and make it work, but don't say that someone did something wrong.
Yeah.
That's fine if you don't like it, that you want the valve moved back. Okay, that's fine. If it works like that, that's fine. You can do that. But when people say that it's a problem, no, that bugs me, because it's not a problem. It was designed how Moen told you to put it in, and they know more about their stuff than we do.
Yeah.
And that's so to say it's a problem. No, yeah, you may not like the way the end result was, and sometimes there are workarounds to make things look more aesthetically pleasing, but then it's not on the plumber, it's not on the tile guy. You can't mock every single aspect of a job up. Like, you just can't. Like, you can mock up a lot, but it's like, that's why they have instructions. That's why they have these depths. They have max pluses and minuses, That's just how it is. So I don't look at it as a problem. That's fine if you don't like it. Yeah, if you catch it, you can move it back in the wall. If you catch it afterwards, well, then you get to pay someone. You get to pay someone to move it back in the wall from the backside. It's not like
we wouldn't have been able to do this though with that particular situation.
No, it would have had to have been redo all the valve if you caught it in time,
and the plumbing too, because of how the plumbing,
because the way the plumbing was and all that. So yeah,
that valve was original to the house.
Yeah, there's always a way to fix it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is when someone says, "Oh, it's installed wrong" or "It's a problem." No, it's not a problem because it is installed right. You just don't like this gap. Well, I can agree with you. Yeah, the gap is excessive, but that's how Moen designed it. So
I think with this particular homeowner, they were just sick of us being there. More than anything.
Oh yeah, it's very intrusive for us to be in your house. I get it. Like, I don't want to.
Because they got this dog, this 1-year-old dog.
Yeah, it's just all over the place.
That's barking every time we come in. That they're having to hold the thing back,
ripping the plastic up.
Yeah, running on the plastic.
Oh, I get it.
And having to put up dog gates. So it's a pain in the butt.
Oh, I know it's a pain in the butt.
But like I said, that's someone in that mood is going to cause problems for us if we don't have our stuff together.
Yeah.
And I felt like with that one, high five to us. I mean, we have our stuff together.
And they were a good customer. Great customer. It's not saying anything like that. It's just if you don't have your stuff together, that's the situation where things can go sideways in an instant.
Yeah, and in this situation, like, I'm reading the situation a little bit, and I don't, like, during the course of the project, I turn into the helper when Jason and I are working together. And I usually don't deal with, like, the finalizing of everything, like, here's the check, like, here's the final invoice. You handle all that. I'm not even usually in the house. I'm already gone doing something else. I usually let you handle all that just because that's not part of my gig. Can I? Yes. But on this particular job, you were right. You were giving her the final invoice. She was giving you the final check. And I did something that I don't usually do. And this is something for you guys out there to maybe read the situation and heed some of, imitate this. Is husband was there, wife was there, and I just looked at both of them and I said, hey, I really want to thank you guys for having us, being so nice and being so kind and patient with us. I really appreciate it, and just did a really heartfelt thank you to them. And I see some looks in their eyes, and I don't think they've ever had people like do a heartfelt thank you. But I do authentically feel that way, but I wouldn't usually say it. But for these people, I did, and it made me feel better, and hopefully, help them know that we are appreciative. Because, for anybody that allows us to come into their house and run our system and do our thing, I mean, you have a special mentality that most people that hire contractors don't. And that to me, I always appreciate that. And I was wondering if they were appreciating us too, because I think for I think sometimes, I don't know. I think sometimes people underestimate what it's all about to get a job from point A all the way to point B, from this side of the line where it's a form that you fill out,
The amount of knowledge and skill and training
into all
and this
and
that.
all the way to the end where you're handing us a final check without damage to your house, without damage to the old tubs that we left in and we worked around and shimmed out
Which is
around.
honestly a miracle.
It's a miracle that it happens. I know why there's so many problems in this business, because it is. It's a miracle. And when I read that homeowner's form, one of the things that she wanted was competent, knowledgeable, and friendly people. And for me, what I was telling Jason at the end of that job is like, number one, we did the same thing that we've been doing for a decade. But number two, I really feel like we live up to what we put out on the internet. I really feel like we lived up to what her expectations were and our build up and our marketing. I feel like now we're at this big job we're on. There's crews that come through here that do the really good marketing and do the really good sales, and then they send the mystery white van crew in that kind of does something completely different to what people are being sold. And I don't feel like that we do that. I feel like we're more transparent and upfront about our entire system and our entire business than a lot of these people are that's kind of blowing smoke up people's butts about what they do. We'll be honest with you about the fact that, although we do love our jobs and we are friendly and we're into it, we do this for money. This is a profit business for us. So it's like I don't want to go into the window guy that's working here, but there's a dishonesty going on, I think, in the marketing and the sales in order to book these jobs, and I don't like it.
A lot of companies do that. That's the bait and switch. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, when we get homeowners like that have those really big expectations and we nail it, I feel like that to me is a testament to who we are, and that we are quality people. Because and also, like, the system that I was saying, like, I appreciated this woman for allowing us to run our system. Like, we're running the German labor market, or the model, to where it's like happy workers do better work. Well-rested workers do better work. You think we work 9 to 3 because, we're lazy. No, it's because we're getting a good night's sleep. We're not out boozing at night. We're taking a shower before we come into work. Maybe getting a little exercise in for me before we come into work. I'm getting to kiss my kids goodbye every morning and be home early to do things with them, not beat to crap to where I don't get to enjoy my life and do things outside of work. And what that does is that creates for our homeowners better quality work, better people in your house when you allow people to live a life outside of work. And a lot of the labor in this country do not have an opportunity. When I go for a walk in the morning, I see the same white van with the same two guys that are doing similar things to Jason and I. They're out by 6:30 every morning, and I see them come home at 7 o'clock every night. They're not doing the best work that we're doing.
Again,
I'm telling you.
It's one thing to do that once in a while, work that long, but I mean, I can't tell you the last time
Well, let's talk about that. For that week that you were on vacation, I know, we work together to dissipate the load.
Yeah.
9 to 4, 9 to 3 when we work. But when I'm working alone, I'm working my butt off 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Like at this person's house, up and down the stairs 40, 50 times.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of hard work. And I believe that's why the longevity and the happiness of tilers is so low, because a lot of these guys and a lot of you out there are working alone without a good partnership.
But the reality is, you get a helper, you might as well just double your cost. Really doesn't matter how much you pay your helper. I mean, they always cost more than what they take home. It's just overhead and stuff. But basically, take your bill and double it, and then you can. you can afford to hire someone. I mean, that's really what you got to do almost. So yeah, like I mean, we've done it before. We've worked by ourselves. It's not any fun. There's some tasks you can do by yourself, and we'll split up, and he'll go do, we'll go silicone tubs around, and he'll go do something else. That's fine. But yeah, generally as a whole, it's working by yourself. It's not, you can't, I don't know why construction people are expected to. It's almost an expectation anymore.
It's a cost thing.
It's a cost thing. I mean,
but my point here, and I haven't really figured out how to advertise this short form. Long form, it's like a happy worker, a well-rested worker. You get better work at your house when two guys work together as a team. The guys are more well-rested. They're happier, and so that translates into less mistakes at your house, and it's two sets of eyes instead of one set of eyes.
Well, heck, I just think of this. Remember the alarm system guy here? He was here all day at the customer's house, and I want to say it was 3-ish when he finished here the one day. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I still got to go do another install." Maybe it ain't even been 4. Heck, it could have been 5. And I remember thinking to myself, "What? What do you mean you got to go do another install?" It was like, this is quitting time, Like that was, I mean, I get it. You do what you got to do sometimes, but
hey, but listen, with that guy, when he left, not a damn thing cleaned up.
No, he did a good job. That's right.
He didn't sweep up anything. He didn't do any of that.
True.
That's all, to me, is an intangible thing and should be part of your service that people pay for. Like every crew that comes through here
just leaves
a mess outside of the carpenter here. That takes time to clean up.
Carpenter's the only one that cleans up. Everybody else, it's like a bomb goes off. It's like, look, was this here when you got here? No.
It's the only rule.
So then why is it here when you leave?
Exactly.
I'm not expecting you to mop the floors, but I mean, a vacuum or a broom, I mean, it wasn't here when you got here. Leave it how you saw. When you show up, how the house is, try to leave it better than that. But at least, bare minimum, leave it how you found it.
Yeah.
Bare minimum, leave it how you found it. But generally, you should try to leave it a little bit cleaner than when you got there. So, maybe, but again, everybody's just rush, and that's what happens.
Yeah, the week you were on vacation, a lot of hard work, for me. But it's good because, like, if you were to say, hey, for me, it's different sides of my brain. When I'm helping you and kind of running my usual tasks that I do beside you, and then to switch over to being in the tile setter, it's a different kind of action and a different side of my brain that I have to like click into. So to have a little bit of time to become a tiler again, but we do similar work just because I was trained by you. So I mean, yeah, just a lot of more ups and downs. Anybody that works alone as a tiler, you know how hard it is.
It's probably the worst trade, honestly, to work by yourself. If I had to think, I don't know, watching a carpenter here work by himself, that's probably a close second, because of just the sheer size of goods he lifts by himself. Like, yeah, it's not electrician. You can kind of work by yourself depending on what you're doing. If you're pulling a bunch of wire in long runs, it's not advisable. It's probably nice with a helper and all that. But electricians can generally work by themselves. Plumbers can probably generally work by themselves depending on what they're doing. But yeah, I think being a tiler is probably one of the hardest things to work by yourself.
Yeah, and I wanted to go back to our homeowner that we just were working for, finding us on Nextdoor. I want to talk a little bit about Nextdoor. I've been spending a lot of time on there, and I think it is a possibility for people to get work on Nextdoor. But I observe a lot of really bad business going on there, and I know there's also a lot of bad workers on there too that rip people off. I mean, it's that to me is just bad business, unethical, immoral. But
seems kind of like a Craigslist, just a nice, like I guess I wouldn't say nicer. It has the more lipstick on the pig version of Craigslist. It's got the nice facade, but it's still Craigslist kind of behind it.
I believe you're going to get a different type of homeowner from Nextdoor than from somebody that's going to find you on Google, because usually Google people are going to be typing in for information. They're going to be looking like, okay, what do I want, like that type of stuff. They're going to be searching for information, whereas Nextdoor, they're just searching for people to work at their house.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've seen is, and let's talk about this a little bit, is on Nextdoor, the homeowner will put out a call for a trade. Hey, I need somebody to install a window. And underneath that question from the homeowner, there'll be 10 or 20 people.
Yeah, I do windows.
Soliciting the homeowner to go and work for the homeowner. And for me and for us, I don't go to the homeowner for work. They come to us. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Well, I mean, you kind of lose the authority, I guess, a little bit, because you're going to them. I don't know if desperate's the right word. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like, soliciting?
You're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
Yeah, disadvantage is probably a better word. Like you're not coming across as the professional in my eye, by asking them. It's like, no, you want them to come to you. Like that's just how you want it, because they want to look at you as the authority. So yeah, you're kind of starting off on the wrong foot in my mind.
And you're already putting yourself in a competitive situation with other companies as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to be in a competitive situation when people say, like, when we sometimes give out, do a quick bid, they'll be like, oh, your prices aren't competitive.
I just got this, and it was funny because I read not the email wrong, but he wasn't clear in his description of what he wanted. It looked like he had a plastic shower pan that he wanted. Mind you, he actually really wanted a shower pan built. Well, I told him a price, and it came out to like, I don't know, between $75 to $90 a square foot, even though I don't price by the square foot. But if you break it down, it came out to that per foot. And the email read something along the lines of, well, I've gotten other bids, and your price point of $75 to $90 is not very competitive to the other ones. Well, first of all, we don't participate in the race to the bottom. That's just how that is. And second of all, well, if you didn't like that price, then you wouldn't really like the real price, because I thought you wanted a plastic shower pan. You actually wanted a real site-built shower pan, so that 75 to 90 would have easily turned into 150, 200 square foot, for your shower. So, he was never really our customer anyways. It was just...
But when we're talking about Nextdoor, that's what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Is a lot of people on there on the race to the bottom. And one of the favorite words on there, to the fact that tradesmen are using it in their ads on there, is everyone's like, I'm looking for a fair and reasonable electrician. And this is just points to me about how people generally don't even think about the words that they use anymore, because number one, what is fair and what is reasonable, that's extremely a subjective term.
It could mean many things. We generally know what fair and reasonable means. You're looking for someone to work basically what you can afford.
Fair to who?
Yeah. What you think it's worth. Well, what I think something's worth doesn't mean squat to the person doing work. It doesn't mean anything. It's worth to him how much labor and his time's worth to him. So, that can be fair to one person, can be a lot of money to someone else, or not a lot of money to someone else. So it's a very subjective term, and it doesn't really mean anything. I generally know what that means when they say they're looking for fair and reasonable. They're looking for what they can afford.
Yeah.
Or what they think they can afford. Or what they there's many avenues.
It gets back to like the market price. Like one guy,
which doesn't exist. There's no such thing.
One guy left a comment, said, "Oh, I want some LVP done in my house. All the bids I'm getting seem far outside the market price." And I left a comment that said, the market price. Many a business is no longer in existence trying to chase this arbitrary market price. And got a couple LOLs on that one. But I mean, that is essentially like the market price. What does that even mean? And the problem with construction and the market price is we work in one of the most corrupt businesses there really are. So you're getting complete people, you're getting all sorts of different people in this business that maybe understand business, maybe don't, that are doing work just, you don't even know. And the market price, fair and reasonable. These are all words coming from people with a mentality that you don't even want to work for if you're a real craftsman.
My favorite one is a builder that says, that's not what I pay. That's my favorite one. Like, that's not what I pay. Well, you don't dictate what I charge either. And maybe what you're looking to pay for. But then again, they'll always say, that's not what I pay. I pay, let's just say, $5 a foot. Well, then if it was enough, you wouldn't be looking for someone to do your tile.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, they never connect those dots to builders. They just never do. They're always like, oh, I can't find anybody good. Or, I'm always looking for a tile guy. It's like the ads for, you always see, if you watch the newspaper, well, when there was a newspaper, there's always ads for DirecTV installers. They're always looking for installers for that. When when DirecTV is saying, it's like, why are they always looking for installers? Like, it's probably because they don't make very much money. I know there's some DirecTV installers that did good money, but I'd be willing to bet they probably work 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one of the things fair and reasonable on Nextdoor is used so often that even the people looking for work use that. John's painting, skilled, fair pricing, and honest. So that's just, for me, if you're out there, you don't go to people for work. They come to you, unless you're in the most dire situation, which probably many of these people on Nextdoor are, and that's why they're doing it, is because I always see people looking for fair and reasonable, and I see more bad reviews or more people complaining on there about bad tradesmen than anywhere else that I've ever seen. Just people, oh, nobody wants to work anymore. This guy ripped me off. All this different kind of stuff. And there's so much bad advice out there too. It's like one of them, this person wanted a window put in. $250 is what they paid, and the guy got half of it up front, and then took the $125 and didn't come back and put the window in. And the person left this big long, person left this big long review, and many of the comments at the bottom were, "Oh, I never pay anybody any money up front until all the work is done." Why do you think that is, and what kind of advice is that for other homeowners?
Well, that means because you're hiring the same type of person. You're hiring the same shitty individual. If you've been burned so many times about, money. Like, we take money, and not a lot up front, but if anything special order, we take money up front. It has to be, and we just bill as work's completed. So, it kind of helps, I think, ease our customers' minds if they've had that experience.
But we have a booking fee, and this booking fee is for a reason. You guys out there, how many and everything that we've done over the years is because we've gotten screwed over, basically, and we've learned and changed how we do business. So it's like you're
and our booking fee should probably be higher.
But how many times has this happened where you have a job set up and you're like, okay, I got this job set up and I'm going to go to it next week. You call to tell the person, oh, I'm ready for your job to come to your job. Oh, we don't want to do that anymore. We canceled, or we found somebody else.
Here's the problem. This is what I think what happens most times, because we know a lot of contractors don't charge enough to have profit. So what they do is they collect money up front from said job, and they're using that money to fund other jobs.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where a lot of this stuff, the reason why a lot of this stuff happens.
True, but let me finish my point about about calling, going to a job, and then the person canceling on you without any notice. You've probably had that happen before if you're in business. I know we have. We had it done to us so many times where we had expectation to go to a job Where I one day I'm like, Jason, why don't we just charge a booking fee? I read in what was the book? I forgot the book, but I read in some book somewhere about how if someone gives reciprocity, and if somebody gives you, what was it? I forgot. I read in some book somewhere that, charging a booking fee will prevent people from canceling on you. And we haven't had a damn cancellation since, because that small amount of money, we charge a $500 booking fee to get on our schedule, to get on our waiting list. That small amount of money makes it so people have never canceled on us again, because they have something invested in you already.
And it should probably be more. We probably should raise it up,
Yeah, but the amount of money doesn't even really matter. It's just some amount of money going to the.
But the only reason I don't have it higher because I don't want to have a ton of your money, and God forbid something happened to me. So
Right.
I'm not going to blow through it. It just sits in my bank account. I mean, it's not. That's not the issue. I never, I'm generally good with money, so I don't just sit there and blow through it, knowing that it's in my account. But I just don't want to have a lot of people's money. For God forbid I get in an accident or something happens, and
Yeah, and one of the posts I made, and one of the things I see about Nextdoor too, and going to the homeowner for work or putting your information out to homeowners, is you're not, a lot of times when people have problems with contractors, it's because the contractor is forced to work under the homeowner's terms, right? The homeowner has expectations, and the contractor kind of gives the homeowner what they want, or does business according to how the homeowner wants to do business. That's what I see. It's like, oh, I need an electrician, and all these electricians respond to that ad. You're volunteering to do business already according to how the homeowner wants to do business. And I think we have success is because we have terms for doing business with you.
We do hear, I wouldn't say we get pushback, but we get some people that we work for, they'll say something, and then I just flat out say, no, we don't do that. This is how we do things. But we don't really get much pushback, I wouldn't say. They'll just be like, oh okay. They're fine with it. It's just, we do get that from time to time, and I just tell people, a lot of it is getting of materials. That's the main one. Oh, I'll get the tile out. I'm like, no, we don't allow you to get the tile. And then we explain why, and then they're generally, oh, that sounds great. Yeah, you can get the tile, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's part of our bill. It's billable hours, but that's actually the main thing that we don't allow people to do anymore. I mean, sometimes we will, like very rare special circumstances. It's been years, so.
But let me say this. When I'm talking about terms, a process, and a system, like.
But that's what I'm talking about. Like and that can be translated to many things of your, aspects of your business. Like that's just one.
Yeah, but we have terms, a process, and a system that allows not only for our homeowners to fall into that system, but it also makes us live up to those terms too. Whenever I put out a piece of content, though, that's almost terms of a contract. That's what you're going to get, and that's what we live up to. And I think having terms of service for a business, like every major business, you look at AOL or not AOL.
AOL. You're going deep.
You look at Twitter, Instagram, any of these internet businesses, they have terms of service that you're expected to fall under. Why wouldn't your contractor business have terms of services for your homeowners? And it adds security to the homeowner too, because you're not just going into something willy-nilly. Right, and that's what I see a lot is just contractors have no system, no process, and that causes problems for the homeowner not being satisfied. Trust is built through not expectations, but through terms. Like, you can't expect something out of somebody, right? If it's not spelled out. What you want, right? That's why I was never really super nervous with our last homeowner. That was a little bit more difficult or a little bit more whatever, is because I know that I'm just doing what we've always done and what she saw probably in our marketing and our advertisement. I'm not advertising one thing and then coming in and doing another. No, these are our terms of service, and I just do those. And if you're not happy, well, that's on you. It's not on us. We've been doing this for everybody, and that's what we do, right? So, and I was also switch topics back to this damn form. I know you guys are probably sick of hearing about our damn form, but I did some math the last couple days about
I've been trying to get the carpenter Travis because he complains about the same thing. I've been in his ear like, you got to try our form out. You got to try the form. It's $40 a month, and it cuts out so much nonsense, and like it just makes your life so much easier.
I did the math about how much time in 2022 we had 500 sales leads in 2022, roughly, right?
Which I would never track that. I'm sorry, it's just way too much
So
work.
500, and we're going to say they average 15 minutes. Some of them I would call and just leave a message, but some of them I would be on the phone for 30, 20.
Yeah, just call average of
45
15 minutes.
So an average of 15 minutes. And tell me if this math is correct. I did 500 calls times 15.
Yep.
It equals 7,500.
Yeah, divide that by 60.
Then I divided it by 6. Guys, I spent 124 hours on the phone in 2022.
124 hours divided by 40. Do 124 divided by 4, 8, 12. That's basically 3 weeks of your of work. 3 weeks of work on the phone, right? Because you said 120 whatever. Yeah, 40 hours a week, 4, 8, 12. That's 120. So it's 3 weeks on the phone. Mind you, it's split up a little bit here and there every day, but 3 weeks on the phone.
You get punished for being good at marketing without a form. So maybe you have.
That's probably down to now. Oh, I'm sure we're still getting 500 calls.
Let's say 350 in 2023. Let's say 350 times 15, 5250
divided by 60.
Divided by 60. That's 87 hours on the phone a year.
That's still 2 weeks of work. That's a ton. Just straight up talking the entire time.
Now guys, we've been doing, like, the last job we did, she found us on Nextdoor, filled out the form. You sent her a couple emails, right? She waited on a waiting list for a couple months for us to get there. We go and do the job. Like, the whole beginning part of that, we never talked to her on the phone.
No, our last 3 or 4 jobs, we have booked strictly through the form. I haven't said, when we literally show up to get an estimate with the form, like, they already know the price, they already know everything. It's just a formality. Hey, what do you want? Blah blah blah. That's it, you know.
So I've spent 0 hours on the phone playing phone stuff with anybody for this year. You know, we get the
we
form.
do it all through emails now, and emails are way easier than a phone call.
We get the form. It has all the questions I would have asked anyway on the form. They fill them out. And
what I'm really curious is how many people call our phone line and don't go fill out the form. That's the number I'd be curious to know. I don't know if there's a way to know that.
So we probably lose some work, but what does it matter really if we're still staying busy with?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I would just be curious to know, like, how many people actually call our landline, or our line, and then because it directs you to our website, like how many are lost that way.
Well, I
would just be curious to know. I don't know how we would know that.
Yeah. Well, my new style of videos I'm doing are me doing like a commentary. About different topics in a little circle in the corner. I don't know if you guys like them, tell me. But my next video, I've been thinking about what are the advantages of doing a form for the homeowner. Because I can talk all about what the advantages are for us as a business. But one of them I was thinking of is when you fill out this form with a series of 12 questions and pictures, you're getting to...
Well, we can get the proper information to you.
No. But for the homeowner, what's the advantage for the person we want to work for? That's the root of sales and persuasion. Is what the advantage is for them. My thought is that it allows them to consolidate all their thoughts about the project.
There's no loss in translation. Them trying to explain something and we're not maybe hearing it right, or what they're explaining isn't really what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like it's better information for both parties.
But the form allows you to actually think about what you want. One of the questions is, what qualities do you like to see in the people that work for your home? Nobody else is going to ask you that, but you're going to get a chance if you fill out this form, and maybe we don't work for you. You at least get a chance to think about this for the other people. You get a chance to maybe please upload photos of what you want your project to look like. Please upload photos of...
Well, and it also eliminates people stumbling and not having a good conversation, because I've had them before. We're like, why did this phone call go so bad? Why did I bumble this or jumble that? You know, like, no reason for it, but that's just how it is. But at least in emails, when you back and forth, you have time to think about what you're typing, and like, I don't know, you just, because we've all had those phone calls where like, man, that phone call did not go well.
Yeah, but but as a homeowner,
and a homeowner can do that too. A homeowner can call you, and they'd be like, man, I didn't talk to that contractor well, or that didn't go as well as I wanted it to.
But the form allows a homeowner to center and gather their thoughts about their project, which a lot of times doesn't get to happen. If it's just like, hey, I'm looking for an estimate, can you come out to my house? So I think that's probably one thing about the form that's actually good for the homeowner.
I like the photos, and then, you know, because then you know exactly what they're talking about. That's the thing I like about, oh, this is what you have? Well, I could tell you exactly what this is going to cost. You know, now there's no guessing of what you have or whatever.
And the thing that boggles my mind is that contractors that want to run out and look at things don't think about the homeowner's time as valuable. Like what we do, we're actually respectful of your time, just as we expect you to be respectful of our time. Like doing the form takes 5 or 10 minutes. Takes 5 or 10 minutes. Doing the form takes 5 or 10 minutes. And it's far more respectful of your time than us coming out to your house, spending an hour at your house. You have to separate out a bunch of time for somebody to come out and figure out if we're the right person. Whereas
we get more information from the form, more pertinent information. I mean, it's just
and it's quicker for everybody. You're not wasting a bunch of time. And the repair we did the other day, we also did a repair of a floor, and we never talked to this person either. They sent us photos of what they wanted.
Of what they had,
sent some rough numbers, and we went out and we did the job, and it's over, paid out, what they want is done.
And the number one thing I like about the form, like, I don't mind talking to people, that's not the issue, but what I like about the form is there is no, well, I thought you said this, or I thought this. It's like, no, it's spelled out is what you add. Like that's why I like the form. Everything.
125 hours a year, you like to talk to people that much?
No. I don't like, I generally don't like talking to people, period.
Guys, when I talk to people, when I consult with contractors, and I talk to them about getting on Google, their number one thing is, I don't want a bunch of phone calls coming in. That's pretty much the number one thing. Well, with this, you don't have to even deal with phone calls coming in. You just, check jot form. You check whether or not you get notifications coming through on your phone. You can check if it's a job you're interested in, and just go from there. And I think it's, personally for me, technology has been a game changer. It's gotten me, at least, let's say, 80 hours of my time back. And it also is, for the homeowners, it must, and I also think it must suck for homeowners that fill out the form and we don't end up working for them. It's kind of, but then again, it's allowed you to at least gather your thoughts on your project more, to be able to better know what you're looking for. So I'm kind of working that out in my brain. Expect a piece of content about the advantages of the form at some point, but it's part of our process. A lot of the things, and the reason why there's so much supervision and management in the world today is because the people that are doing the work are so incompetent, and they can't do things like form a business process to get people from point A of filling out a form or a phone call to point B of having a new bathroom. And that's why a lot of guys are stuck for working for the supervisor or the management, the clipboard contractor. And we've been able to figure out how to cut that guy completely out and have our own process that customers can deal with the contractor, with the craftsman, with the tradesman directly. And that's what this podcast is all about, is helping you guys kind of figure out through us and what we've done, figure out a way to become the owner-operator.
I love the form. If there's, I know, again, I hate to harp on it, but man, if there's, just try it out, man. I'm telling you, it's scary a little bit. It was scary at first, but it's like, man, it's just made our life so much easier. Yeah, you can always turn the form off and answer phone calls if you have to, but man, it's nice. It's nice. Just you can get more straight to the point and quicker. Just get to the meat and potatoes of everything quicker. That's why I like it. Because I'm a straightforward person. That's just, niceties are great and all, but can we just get down to business?
Yeah. So it's about respecting your homeowner's time and also having respect for your own time. Because if you don't respect your own time, they're definitely not going to respect you or your time. We're making up a bid right now for a guy that called last week, and I could tell the first thing he said, "Hey, I want you to come out for an estimate." He sent the form, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm calling you back. I want you to come out for an estimate." And I said, "Yeah, we can get to that. It doesn't look like your grout is just broken. Your grout's broken because your shower failed. Oh, well, what's that going to cost me?" Then I threw out some rough numbers at him. Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty much what the other guys were saying too. And I don't know what he expected me to say, but I'm like, okay, well, great. I'm glad I can help you out. This was after I said, "Do you understand how a shower works? Do you mind? Do you have 5 minutes for me to explain to you how a shower works?" "Oh, I know how the shower works, but yeah, go ahead." So I explained to him how a shower works, and got to the end, and he's like, "Yeah." I kind of told him what a shower and what he wants costs. "Oh, that's what the other guys are kind of wanting. I'll call you back." And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm like, great talking to you. And hung up the phone while he texted me, "Hey, can you guys come out and do an estimate?" I'm like, "No, we have enough information right here to write you an estimate. I'll get it to you within the next couple of days. You look at the numbers. If they work for you, then we'll come out and talk to you." You got to be done letting people waste your time. I think that's the biggest thing that we've come to realize is every time.
When was the last time we went on an estimate on a Saturday or Sunday?
Or on an estimate for something that we don't get.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, you go on an estimate, it messes up your entire day, especially if you're an owner-operator. So this allows you to actually work and do your thing and do things that make money and also be able to have incoming work in. And it seems to be working, harping on this form every week, but you've actually watched us throughout the course. If you've been watching the podcast from the start, you've watched us work through this form thing, and it works, and it's been working for us. And yeah, we're gonna start a new job on Monday, and that's pretty much the end of the show for this month. I feel like every 30 or so days is a good schedule for the podcast. I've been feeling like, I wanted to do it every 2 weeks at first, and I think
you run out of things to talk about. It's hard to keep.
Yeah, I feel like every 30 or so days is good. So I don't know. They say YouTube likes it if you post up all the time, but this isn't really about doing it for YouTube. I mean, I feel like I just have a inspiration to kind of update people on what we're doing and also help people if we can. And if you've made it this far, I noticed today Mark Christensen from Tarkus Tile has a YouTube channel now. It's at Tarkus Tile. So go ahead and follow him on his YouTube channel. He has 300 followers. This guy right here is the real deal. Super educational. You might have seen him on Tile Coach. He knows what he's talking about. He's one of the top tile guys, I think, in the country, probably that I've ever seen. And he's doing the most difficult, most technical stuff. And he's giving out his information and his philosophy on YouTube. And this is a guy that I don't think needs to do this for work. It's not. He's just doing it out of the goodness of his heart. So go over to his channel and give them a follow. You got anything to close with, Jason?
I think the tile trade's about the only ones. Is they the only ones that are more willing to share their info for free than any other trade?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I know other trades do, but I don't know. It seems like the tile community is like generally a fairly close knit, like, because we met people online and stuff and helped us out and sent, all kinds of things. Like, you've never met me, but you're more than willing to help us out, or so. Yeah, I wonder if that's if the tile community is
maybe different than sheetrockers or whatnot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, keep yawning. It's time to close the week out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Ready for some sunshine. It's been kind of gloomy here in Georgia. It's been raining like cats and dogs. I think
we're coming out of it.
I think we're supposed to get between 1 to 2 inches, between 1 and 5 inches. I think.
Yeah, but we're on the tail end of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be spring here soon. It's been kind of almost like a Michigan winter where it's Michigan gray all the time. It's been kind of it hasn't been cold, but which is fine. That's been great. It's been kind of a mild winter,
pollen's gonna
but
be
it's
coming
been
out.
it's been miserable out. No sun, cloudy. It's just I'm ready for some sun, man. I don't like it when it's cloudy like that all the time. It's like, ugh, I don't want to go to work more so than normal.
Yeah, that week you were on vacation, it was raining here the whole time.
Yeah, it's just it has been raining. It's been raining a lot, and it's just I hate the rain.
Yeah.
So, but we do get the most rain of all the states, believe it or not. I think it's on average 42 inches a year. When you tell people that, they're like, huh? No, yeah, we get more. I think Georgia gets the most rain out of everybody.
All right, guys, so that's our podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate you all being here, and we'll see you next time here at the Hamilton Tile Show podcast. And remember what I always say, don't let them work you too hard. Over and out.